Yeah.
You'll have to click on the recording on, probably.
Yeah, I'll do that. Happy evening. Welcome to Mahipati Talks. As you know that every day evening we are having talks with the resource persons who can enhance our skills, especially the audience who can learn and make their life better life. As you know, during this COVID-19, everything has been stopped. Schools have been stopped, colleges have been stopped, but learning has not been stopped. And also at the same time, sharing of knowledge has not been stopped, and also acquiring knowledge has not been stopped. And I'm also happy that most of the people they are showing a lot of interest in making the sessions more lively, and also they're contributing to the society. I thank everyone, especially today's resource person Thirmal Reddy is one of my best friends, and I can say that he is the one of the best resource person in the corporate world who has been into training for more than 2.5 decades of training field. He worked for GSK for 12 years and 13 years consultant, and he's also a person who always learns and make the others share his knowledge with other people. He is a person who is into learning and development section, where he does a lot of research and training need analysis. And he is a person who now, apart from corporates, he's also a person who goes for and trains this police department, and you take whatever the industry you take, education, technical, technology, and all, he is there. I really appreciate Thirmal Reddy for having accepted my invitation to deliver a session which is need of the hour, which is very important, is the essential life skills during this COVID time. Now I request Thirmal Reddy to take the session on essential life skills.
Yeah, thank you, Mahi. I think it's really wonderful. How about waiting for a couple of minutes, because 7 was the time which we had mentioned in the Zoom link. So 2 minutes to go to 7, I believe. Am I right, Mahi? Yeah.
Yes, Thirmal, we'll wait for 2 minutes.
Yeah, a couple of minutes, and then so we'll put it in a maybe gallery view and see who are there. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
So welcome to Narendra, and welcome to Vasanti, Vamshidhar, Raju, and Lavanya Garu. That's really wonderful that you're all bang on time, you see. So before time you could check in. So check-in is also very important, checking before time. That shows the time sense and eagerness to learn. So they can be on videos on for a while till 7. It's 59, so another 1 minute to go.
They can.
Yeah, they can on their videos and say hello to each other. And then subsequently you can mute Mahi.
Yeah. If anybody would like to raise their hand.
Yeah, would like to. Yeah. Good to see Narendra on with the video. And yeah, if people who are wanting to on their videos, yeah, Narendra, good to see you, man. Wow, brilliance. So you are in Hyderabad, Narendra, is it? You are in Hyderabad now. You need to unmute yourself, Narendra. Unmute yourself. Yeah, Mahi will have to unmute Narendra.
I have given permission.
Great. Yeah. He's still gone into mute mode. Narendra has gone in mute mode.
Unmute Narendra. You need to unmute Narendra. Now you are audible.
Yeah, now you can speak, Narendra.
I am in Daman, sir.
Oh, Daman, is it? Good. Wow, wonderful. You are able to come alive from Daman. Wonderful. I really appreciate the gentleman behind you who is helping you. Wonderful.
Yes.
Great.
He is my father, sir.
Oh, he is still in. Okay, he is there in Daman, is it? Okay.
Yes.
I thought he was in Hyderabad. Okay.
No. Actually, he was supposed to go, but due to this corona pandemic, he's there in Daman with me.
Okay, so he is helping you, is supporting you.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Happy to see you, sir. Happy to see Narendra on live. That's really wonderful. Yes. Great.
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Vamshidhar, good evening.
Mute this video.
Yeah, Mahi,
They can unmute and speak.
Yeah, sir. Good evening, sir.
Thirmal, you need to unmute yourself. Thirmal, you need to unmute yourself.
Oh God. Okay, I went into mute mode. So very good evening, Vamshidhar. Happy
evening,
to see
sir.
you here.
Yeah, after a long time.
Mahi, I have to share about Vamshidhar. He is the head of plant of heritage in Tirupati.
Wow, wow, wow.
Hello, sir.
He's a very senior manager in the company.
Okay. Nice meeting you virtually, sir.
Yeah, yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So, Vamshidhar garu, can we wait for a minute or so that more people can join and then we can start off?
Yeah, sure.
So we have 5 people now.
I've shared the link with you, Thirmal.
Yeah, sure.
Meanwhile, I'll try to talk about Mahipati talks for 1 minute, Thirmal, with your.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, very much.
Yeah. Because of this COVID, no, I work in an engineering college as an associate professor, and also I'm do training as a passion. And because of this COVID time, we felt like no, the colleges and schools, everything is closed. So then I was finding some time. I was reflecting on myself, and I thought that why don't we have some contribution to the society? Then we started for the past 3 weeks. I think Sir's session is the 60th session, and it's a we thought that no, this will be useful for the people to earn and unlearn and relearn. During this COVID time, we need to reflect on ourselves. So this platform invited all the stalwarts of the training field and who are willing to share their knowledge and make the difference in the society. I'm glad that during this process, when I approached Thirmal said that, okay, why not? And we are focusing on 4 areas. We are focusing on language skills, we are focusing on life skills, we are focusing on psychological skills, and also we are focusing on the most important is the personality development. These are all areas where we are focusing and we are making the people to understand and implement in their life. Thank you for all of you for making your time. I'm sure that your time is going to be more valuable, and also you're going to get a lot of inputs from today's sisters person, Chirmal.
Thank you, Mahi. I think you are creating a wonderful platform for people to come on board and learn. And learning is an ongoing process. And you have been the great catalyst and enabler in creating that kind of a learning ecosystem at large. That's really wonderful. Wonderful initiative. So 7:03 is the time. Good to see a lot of familiar faces. Yeah, go ahead.
We will start, Thirmal, because for the people who have joined now, I would like to introduce you that for the benefit of the others who have joined now. Welcome to all the participants for this session, online session on the essential life skills. Today's resource person is that Thirmal Reddy, who has got 12 years of experience working with GSK and 13 years as a consultant, learning and development consultant, and he has been trainer and important training at various fields, horizontal and vertical, starting from the lower level to the CEO, vice presidents, and also the managers, senior managers level. He is there into pharma industry, is there into educational universities, and he's also there into corporate IT field. You take any field, he's there, and he's sharing his knowledge and enabling the people to imbibe the life skills and make their life more happy. Now I request today's resource person, Thirmal Reddy, to go ahead with the session on essential life skills.
Thank you, Mahi. So I will share my slides and then. So I hope it's visible to all.
It's visible, Thirmal.
Yeah, wonderful. So I'll put
Yes,
it in
sir,
the
visual,
slides.
sir.
Wonderful. Yeah. So great. Very good evening to all, and warm welcome to this session. I'm really privileged to being here and then talking about how important it is, the life skills. Particularly, I was on the hindsight was thinking about coining this as unconventional life skills. That was an idea. As an afterthought, we were thinking instead of essential life skills, me and Mahi thought about coining it as unconventional life skills. And also, Mahi, I think people who are waiting, in the waiting room, you can keep admitting them, because I'm getting to see them. A lot of people seems to be in the waiting room, and it keeps popping up on my screen. Yeah. So what is that? Why is that? The unconventional things which we're going to talk about is because with the changing times, it's essential for us to talk about something which is unconventional, because everything around us is happening is all unconventional. So it's important for us to see and think about what are those unconventional things. And here, the objectives of the session. The objectives of the session is each one's point is valued. Sorry, the objective session is to reflect about unconventional life skills with the changing times. I was just wondering about, using this model called Golden Circle. Golden Circle was talked about by Simon Sinek. He talks about why what we do, what is the purpose of what we do, how we do, and what is that we want to achieve, what is that we want to accomplish. So we'll try and cover of all these, unconventional life skills, maybe in a format like this. Why is that this skill important? How is that we can practice those skills? And what is the benefit of those skills? Something on those lines we'll try and talk about. Coming to is it the slide is not getting changed? Yeah. I want to start with a powerful quote. I think system in between is going for a hang. I think maybe there's some problem. Okay. So the powerful quote is, the positive thinkers see the invisible, feels the intangible, and achieves the impossible. So when we say see the invisible, the challenge is these days we don't get to see what is visible, and we're talking about seeing invisible. And what comes to my mind is nobody could see that corona is coming, the COVID-19 would come. So probably if they had seen that is coming, people would have been a little more cautious, and they would have taken a lot more precautious steps. Feels the intangible. Intangible. Tangible is something which we can touch and feel. Feeling intangible is tough. Particularly, what I got to see is that many times, the insurance people, life insurance people, particularly, they talk to people in scenarios like, what, God forbid something goes wrong, what would happen to a family in the absence of a person who is a breadwinner. And then the man starts visualizing his absence and the kind of consequences it can have on the well-being of the family. So possibly, then he starts feeling the intangible. How it is going to impact him in the absence of him, the family, and achieves the impossible. Achieving impossible is a tough thing, because what is possible is achievable. What is impossible is tough to achieve. So what I'm wondering is that when we say achieving impossible, more than that, what would be ideal is to being the first. Be the first to do something. Be the first to do something. Maybe I'm trying to find the easy way out of doing impossible. When we do something fast, maybe that amounts to saying that nobody has done since I've done it, so I could do something which is impossible. That is a kind of easy pathway to prove that something which is being done, which is not being done by others. So this quote has a lot of significant impact on me. There's a lot of power in this quotation. That the positive thinkers see the invisible, feels the intangible, and achieves the impossible, said by Winston Churchill. So with this powerful quote, I want to move you into an objective session. Slow on the, it's going to hang. I think why so? Well, I think I'll have to click here, probably, on the touchpad. Okay, not on the scrolling down. So we're done with this quote, and then the first skill I want to talk about is comfort with ambiguity. Yeah. Comfort with ambiguity. You may wonder why is that, we'll have to be comfortable with ambiguity. There's a lot of ambiguity around us. We see in this universe, we get to see a lot of uncertainty, and people are used to predictable life. People are used to organized and methodical lifestyles. But what we get to see that these days, much before this, COVID-19, the buzzword was disruption. Disruption was the buzzword. And I think we could hear and talk about a lot on disruption. Android had come and then created a disruption in the mobile industry. I think Amazon has come and then created a lot of disruption in the FMCG industry. And things like Uber also has come and created a lot of disruption in the travel and transport industry. So mother of all disruptions, I'll repeat, mother of all disruptions is COVID-19. COVID-19 has turned everything upside down, has turned topsy-turvy. So I think what is more important and what is more significant is that at a mental level, we need to be very comfortable with this kind of ambiguity which is lurking around. And you can see, I mean, the ambiguity is so much across everywhere in terms of all possible challenges. But at a mental level, if I'm comfortable and focus on what is in our circle of control, then we'll be more resourceful. I think what is happening with humans is, instead of being comfortable with ambiguity, they become frustrated, they become disturbed, and they lose focus. So if one can really embrace the ambiguity in their lives and be comfortable with that, I think it becomes a lot more easier for the person to focus on. And for being comfort with ambiguity helps in building resilience, and one can become very agile, and he can take the challenges head on. So that's the advantage of being comfortable with ambiguity. But if person is not comfortable with ambiguity, then a lot of restlessness would set in, a lot of panicking would set in, and people will become perturbed. So I think when someone is comfortable with ambiguity, he can really be more tenacious, more resilient, and he can look at things. So he can look at events happening in life as a game, and he can play to his best. So that's the advantage of being comfortable with ambiguity. So this is the idea with regard to, because this again very sought after skill nowadays. There's so much of ambiguity and uncertainty around. So I would like to use the keywords here. If you look at the slide, there are two keywords, how one can be comfortable with ambiguity: by being flexible, by being adaptable. I think these are some of the key indicators that how one can become more comfortable with ambiguity. One can become very quick in adapting to the changes. One can be very flexible instead of being rigid. So these are the few ideas one can really adapt to, and he can shift the gears much comfortably with the changing environment, with the changing challenges at workplace. And he can comfortably handle the risk and uncertainty in life too. Yeah, so I want to pause now on this particular skill. And if someone want to ask a question or want to share an idea, you can raise the hand, and Mahi can unmute them, and then, or someone want to chat into the chat box. Even that can be done. If someone want to key into the chat box, you can also key into the chat box, and you can type in there. Yeah. So Mahi, you are able to look at the chat box?
Yeah, Tirmal.
Yeah. So if someone want to chat, you can want to ask a question, you can chat, you can type into the chat box, or you want to ask it directly, then you can raise your hand. Mahi will unmute you so that you can raise a question related to this skill which I'm talking. Comfort with ambiguity. Yeah, anyone? Yeah, you have two choices. One is you can key in your question into the chat box, or you can also key in your comment and observation about this skill into the chat box. Or you want to speak up, you can raise your hand. You will find that option at the bottom of the screen. Next to the chat, you have an option participants, and also there are multiple options. Mahi, can you guide them? What are the other options there at the bottom?
Yeah, they can raise their hand, they can unmute, and they can also speak. They can use the chat box.
Yeah, feel free to, because I want to make this session more interactive, not that like a monologue. So I want to stop on this one particular skill and then take a few questions or listen to a few comments on this. Yeah, anyone have a question or a comment on this? I'm trying to say that being comfortable with ambiguity is very essential skill going forward.
As
Yeah.
Thirmal rightly said that he spoke about the two keywords also. You can speak about the keywords. Adaptable, flexible, comfortable with uncertainty. How it's going to happen. If you have any queries, you can.
Yeah, Narendra and Vamshidhar Garu, yeah, feel free to anytime you can unmute and speak, or you can chat into the chat box. So if there is no question or a comment on this, I'll go to the next skill then. Yeah, is
We'll
that
go
good?
to the next skill.
Yeah, good to go. Good to go. Yes, yes. The next skill is positive psychology. Positive psychology is another very important. I've been reading quite a lot of literature these days. I've been attending a lot of seminars. I get to hear something called positive psychology. And you may wonder that, usually what we get to see and what we find is that for a long time, I found psychologists focused on the disease model. They focused on the disease model or a therapeutic model. And they were trying to address the problems related to frustration, depression, and so on and so forth. But what I found that is that in 1988, I found that the gentleman by name Martin Seligman, he was elected president of American Psychological Association, and it was then that positive psychology became the theme of his term as a president. He is widely seen as the father of contemporary positive psychology. And there comes a kind of a shift now. Instead of focusing on negative events in life and having a kind of a therapeutic approach to that, the positive psychology is founded on the belief of that people want to lead a meaningful and purposeful life. So primarily the positive psychology is founded on the belief of that people want to live a meaningful and purposeful life. So the focus is shifted from the therapeutic to health and happy model, then disease model to healthy and happy model. And the people started focusing on how we can use this psychology to talk about more positive events in life. I think this is quite interesting shift, from negative events in life to positive events in life. So that's where, the whole paradigm shift is taking place. So the positive psychology focuses on the positive events like joy, happiness, inspiration, and so forth, so on and so forth. And also in some of the positive states, like feeling grateful to what you have in life, and also talks about resilience and compassion for fellow human beings. So positive psychology is quite an interesting shift as a new skill, in the human life. And people can really create a lot of positive events in life. And even if I may say, in the context of positive psychology, how we can put into practice, perhaps I would say, uh, if people can really talk positive and possibility language in day-to-day conversations, if one can talk positive and possibility languages, then talking a lot of negative and or derogatory language. I think somewhere that shift in the language is also important, because what we speak, what goes in the tongue goes in the mind and goes in the actions. So I think the language also has some impact on our thoughts and feelings and actions. So somewhere we need to bring a shift in the positive language and the possibility language. If the more we speak about positive and possibility language, I think we are programming the positivity in life. The other way of looking at positive psychology is that there are a lot of positive events in life. You all agree that. When we talk about positive events in life, how often do we celebrate them? And how often really we share those positive events in life? So the more we talk about positive events and positive success stories in life, the more the happier we become, the more the inspiration it becomes to many people too. So I think somewhere the instead of being narcissist and thinking negative, it's very important to practice something called positive psychology. Uh, and also what the studies say that is, that the positive psychology focuses on your strengths, and it talks about, about growth mindset. It also talks about the growth mindset. So people think about, what are the growth possibilities. They are very positive in whatever they think, and they see the possibilities in whatever they do. So positive psychology also can be, sometimes people say about, the gratitude. It's also feeling grateful to something. It also creates a lot of positive mindset in the humans. And I think these are the few thoughts which I wanted to think about in the positive psychology context, because in the context of a job or even in the lives, what we find is that people either focus on the past, they are more cribbing about the past or anxious about the future. So which you can't change. The past can't be changed and the future can't be predicted. But they miss out on the present and they don't enjoy the present. So it's important for you to being focused in the present and then think of possibilities in life. So this is what positive psychology talks about. So I want to pause here and then give some space for the people who can who want to. You can chat into. I don't see a single chat into the chat box. You can give your comments or you can ask a question, or you can even raise your hand. So I just talked about positive psychology and what are the benefits of positive psychology, how one can focus on positive psychology, how it's going to benefit the people. So I had a few ideas about it. I just want to open it to the floor. If someone want to ask a question or want to make a comment, and either way, you're welcome. Come on, I think people should feel free to raise a hand or you chat into the chat box, or whatever you feel, or you can give a comment of what you feel about positive psychology too. Yeah, because I don't want to make it monologue. It's not like I'm not into preaching. I'm not a Baba to stand up and preach you for a long, point after point. Yeah. So any question you want to ask with regard to positive psychology?
Chandrasekhar, you can go ahead. Chandrasekhar, you can unmute yourself and speak.
Yeah. We spoke about 2 skills so far. Comfort with
Chandrasekhar
ambiguity.
would like to speak, sir.
Yeah,
Yes.
go ahead, Chandra.
Yes. Great evening, Tirupati Reddy Garu.
Yeah, thank you. You should.
Yeah, it was really happy, and I'm really glad to see you making this an interactive one, which is really the best part of any presentation. So
Yeah.
I'm really glad, and ambiguity, and then positive psychology. More often than not, positive psychology is not seen in many people because they live in the past. They have most of the people have distaste of past, distrust of future. So we see, and this is the need of the hour and we need to have it. Possibility language is more often one thing which can guide us towards the success. And I don't have any queries, but I just wanted to respond to your interactive way of presentation, and I just wanted to compliment you, and then I would like to look forward. If there is any, I shall surely come back and come up with. Thank
Wonderful,
you.
Chandra. Wonderful. That I'm really glad that you came live and then spoke about your mind. That's really wonderful. Good. Yeah. So, and also those people who are a little shyful, or if you want not feel so comfortable about speaking on the mic, you can chat into the chat box too.
Yeah,
So
Bhavani says that yes, sir, positivity is always best.
Oh, good, Bhavani. Yes, I think either we don't have a choice to, it's good to being positive. And if we think of being negative, then it's a loss to ourselves. Yeah, good. So we'll go to the third one. Yeah. So the third one is about, mindfulness. Mindfulness, it's really very interesting because now of late I've been attending a lot of seminars. I came across this is also very interesting skill. Being mindful about everything around us and being in the present. If I may say that, it's very hard to slow down, the kind of fast-paced life we are in. We don't slow down and, observe things. And we're not very cognizant of what is happening around us. What amazes me is that, typically, even when I take a simple example like eating, what is the irony today? We simply, most of us are, just chewing, gulping in. Seldom people really, chew, and seldom people really, release the taste of a particular dish. How often we really eat mindfully and feel the taste of food? Many a times we're in a hurry, we want to just gulp in and rush to the job or rush to the work or do something else. So it just in autopilot mode. We just keep eating, that's all, like a mechanical thing. But we don't really mindfully eat and watching some TV and then eating. So we're not actually focusing on what we are eating too. So mindfulness is something very interesting and got my attention too. Even in a session like this, if I may say so, while listening to what I'm saying here, our mind could be working somewhere else, or maybe we could be still, fiddling with the mobile on the side. So very tough, being very mindful of what's happening around. And what comes to my mind is that, particularly most often humans operate from subconscious mind. Subconscious mind. And because, being mindful calls for a lot of conscious effort. And you'll have to really activate all the senses, maybe all the 5 senses, to see what's happening around, and then be observant of how it is impacting you and others in the ecosystem. So therefore, people are comfortable operating from a subconscious state. That's another very comfortable state one want to be in and operate there. And the other thought which comes to my mind is, while we are very mindful, we can watch our thoughts. And when we watch our thoughts, we can also regulate it. And we can watch our words, and we can watch our actions. So mindfulness, in a way, is helping us to watch our thoughts, watch our words, and watch our actions. Now, what is the benefit of it? Now, because we don't, otherwise, if you're not so mindful, what happens is we may think something, we may say something, and we may do something altogether. There's so much of dissonance there. And mindfulness will help to bring congruence in the thoughts, words, and actions. So you come across very authentic. When there is a congruence, you come across very authentic. That's the beauty of being very. And what I also found is, particularly, there is so much stimuli in our lives, and there is so much of it. Could be some of the stimuli could be very provocative too. And what I found is that when there's a provocation, usually the tendency of humans is to react. Generally to react, when there is a provocation, all the more. And mindfulness will help in what? Mindfulness will help dampen the amygdala. Now, because you know how the other person is emoting, and how it's impacting you, and how it's provoking you. See, the advantage here is that when you are very mindful, there's something called amygdala at the bottom of the brain, which it triggers the emotional fight and flight hormones. Either you fight or either you flight, kind of hormones are produced, and therefore the reactions would start. Now, what happens when you get into reaction mode? Your logic and rational thinking mind will get subdued, and leading to escalation of a conflict. Now, a person who is very mindful, what happens is this will subdue the amygdala's reaction or amygdala hijack, and activates the prefrontal cortex. Prefrontal cortex, that's the advanced brain of humans. The amygdala is the limbic brain. It's more of a fight and flight kind of a brain. So when the prefrontal cortex is activated, the thinking is activated. So you choose response and you don't react. Be mindful of words I'm using now. Being mindful will help choose response, not like reacting. So when you choose the response, you are in control of the outcome. So that is the beauty of mindfulness, And more so when you are in a social context, the way you are presenting yourself, the vocabulary you're using, and the way you are conveying a message matters a lot, because you are creating impressions about what you are saying. So being mindful will also help you to read others, how others are feeling, and therefore you can regulate your your language or your behavior, and therefore you can build better relationships. So these are the few thoughts on being mindful, and I know it's quite challenging. And so because we are used to so much into autopilot mode, day in and out, we just operate from our regular state of mind. But for tomorrow to get up in the morning and say, yeah, come on, I think I need to be. So we need to check in the morning. We need to do regular check-in in the morning and say, I want to be mindful today while I'm talking to my better off, or I should be very mindful today while I'm talking to my stakeholders. So until unless you do these check-ins, very unlikely you practice mindfulness. Very tough, because we go into the autopilot mode. Until unless you consciously do those check-ins, it's not possible. So while I might say it's so easy, yeah. And maybe a couple of more thoughts on mindfulness. Maybe people talk about pranaya, right? Pranayam and the breathing exercise. People talk about, and this they say that focus on inhalation and exhalation, And why is that? Because when you focus on the breathing exercise, you are able to still the mind. You're able to calm the mind. And the moment you still and calm the mind, the clarity emerges, and you're able to focus better. And so I think in a way it sets a prelude to that meditation would help in building mindfulness in a way, probably. These are the few thoughts with regard to mindfulness. Mahi, I think I see a couple of people in the waiting room. Can you please let them in? Mahi, are you there? Mr. Srinivas, are you there?
Done, Tirmal.
Yeah, please be responding to me, so that, because I get to see a lot of pops up saying that people are in the waiting room. So quickly admit them so that they don't have to waste their time in the waiting rooms. Yeah, this is my request. Yeah, so now I want to park here on this. I spoke for a while on mindfulness and its benefits, why we are not so mindful. I took an example of eating or maybe other things. Yeah, anyone want to ask a question? You can put that into chat box, or you can unmute and speak about it. Yeah. Yes, anyone have a question or an inquiry or any comment about mindfulness? And because I'm talking this is a very essential skill, because going forward, it's very important for us to not being
Yes, sir, it's very
operative.
essential.
Yeah, Chandra, go ahead.
Yes, sir, it is very essential and the need of the hour, which makes a difference in the communication too.
Okay, good. Very true.
Hello,
Yeah.
sir.
Yes, Mrudula, go ahead.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, very much.
Yeah. So mindfulness is an essential skill nowadays, especially the way you commented that we need to react. We need not
to
react,
respond.
and we need to respond.
Hmm.
That is very, very important skill that we have to learn nowadays, especially it is the need of the hour. So mindfulness not only makes us to observe our thoughts, but it also reflects in our actions. So that is very rightly pointed, sir. Thank you.
Good, thank you. Thank you for the observations. I really appreciate them. Yeah, if someone not comfortable speaking on the mic, you can also chat, you type into the chat box. Mahi, you can be live, Mahi. You can on your video. Don't go onto the picture. You can be live.
Yeah, Tirmal.
Being
Sometimes
a
there's a
host,
background
yeah.
noise, so that's the reason I'm muting my mic.
No, at least you can keep the video on. You can keep the video on. So at least I get to see one more person live there. Otherwise, all the blank screens for me. And it's like speaking to the wall, At least a couple of videos on will make some sense for me too. Yeah, good. So good to go to the third one. Yeah, Narendra, you want to ask any question or any comment you want to make? I hope Narendra is listening to us. Maybe if Narendra has to speak, he has to unmute himself and speak.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, Narendra.
Yes, this mindfulness is reminding me of the Sthita Prajna in Bhagavad Gita, what Lord Krishna talks about equanimity of mind. Just we should calm ourselves, we should calm down, and we should be alike in both the states of happiness and in the state of grief. That's what.
Good observations, Narendra. I really appreciate coming live and talking. I'm glad. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Narendra. Tirmal, there is one query for you. Like, sir, mindfulness and being positive, can we correlate them?
Good, Daddy.
Yeah, why not? I mean, mindfulness and what is the other one you said? Mindfulness and
being positive.
Being positive. Of course, when you are very mindful, you choose to be positive, right? You don't generally, no mind would say that you get into negative mode. Mindfulness would certainly enable the positive, because when we say you choose to respond, the moment you choose the response means you are positive. You're not reacting, right? So mindfulness is helping you to choose the response. And so there is an indication that you are very positive. Reacting becomes a negative. Of course, it has an impact of being positive. Yeah, Chandra, you want to say something? You looked like wanting to say something.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Being mindfulness, absolutely. I can substitute it. But my query is like being mindfulness. We are told that human beings have the concentration levels when compared to other beings or whatever, to some extent, like maybe maximum 20-30 minutes or whatever. And being mindfulness throughout when we are in a long session like this, and just a query, how best we can concentrate, sir? I heard that subconscious mind, mastering that would also help us, even that is also there. And here, subconscious mind and conscious mind, being mindfulness is another way saying that being conscious mind. How best it is possible to be so mindful throughout 3 to 5 hours of session, whatever? It's just a submission. How best can you
Good. See, the beauty here is that when we're talking about, mindfulness talks about here and now. It talks about the present. And if you remember a while ago, you said that, people, talk about the past, they crib and regret about the past, and they're anxious about the future. So while we talk about, being in the present here and now, at least, based on the context and scenarios, we should be able to exercise the consciousness, not slipping into subconscious state. So that would help you to get the best out of each session. And to bring in that mindfulness, I'm opening this session for discussions like this to make it more interactive. Otherwise, imagine if I were to be in a monologue, and maybe some people would have after a while, they would lose the attention, and then they start fiddling with some mobile or something else. And so I'm trying to bring in that kind of a practical application to what I'm talking now. Yeah.
Absolutely true, sir. You took words from my mouth.
Thank you. Great. So we'll go back to the next skill now.
Yeah, please.
Good. Yeah, wonderful. Just a minute. So next one is quite interesting one. And this talks about, it's taking a while before we, empathy is the next one. So empathy, and coming to this particular skill, what comes to my mind is quite an interesting one. Now, a lot of literature I read, a lot of seminars I attended. It's become a cliche. I would say that it has become a cliche. Cliche is something which is repetitive, which has been spoken quite often. What got my attention? I would say that sympathy is showing it's kind of a feeling sorry for someone's misery. Sympathy is feeling sorry for someone's misery, and then empathy is about feeling the way the other person is feeling or experiencing the feeling of others. But what caught my attention is, while sympathy and empathy stops at feeling level, they're stopping at a feeling level, feeling sorry or feeling the way the other person. I read all the dictionaries. I went into the definitions of them and found that both of them were stopping at a feeling level. Then comes compassion. Then I looked at compassion. Then compassion is the next level. Compassion makes us to go about helping. Goes about lending a helping hand. So compassion takes to the next level of empathy. But incidentally, in the industry, in the public forums or in the literature, empathy is spoken a lot as compared to compassion. So this is where I felt I should talk about that. Compassion is something which is very essential skill. Now you see there is so much of technological advancement like artificial intelligence. Now therefore there is a lot of automation which is happening. Then came machine learning. Machine learning, machine started learning. Machine started learning, and therefore it is giving output. Whatever the input you give, the minimum input, when the machine started learning, it is able to code, is able to do the coding, and is able to give the output. But what is happening is, though the AI and ML, machine learning, they are doing a great job, but one area which they are still not there is empathy and compassion. Machines and tools cannot show empathy and empathy like humans or compassion like humans. So still there is a lot of scope and opportunity for the humans to practice this skill in the workplace. When so much of technological advancements is happening, the human touch or the human face is missing in the corporate world. Somewhere as a managers or as a management or individuals who are in the business, if they can really consciously practice empathy and compassion towards the stakeholders, it could be anybody, it could be employees, it could be customers, it could be anyone. So this is one important skill which I felt very essential for people to practice. Bot, I heard some example of a bot responding to someone. What happened? Some airline passenger lost his baggage. He has written a message saying that I lost the baggage. Bot has responded to it. See the funny thing now. because lots of bots are giving responses these days. A lot of in customer service centers, bots are installed, they give ready-made answers, and there is human intervention is reduced. You know what bot has responded? Thank you for fantastic feedback. We really appreciate you. And you see the kind of comment it has given. Thank you for a fantastic feedback. Feedback. We really appreciate you. Look forward for you. Coming on board again and again. That guy who read that response was baffled. He was so baffled and shocked. I lost his luggage, and this bot is saying he didn't know that bot has responded, and he wrote another complaint. What is this? You are appreciating for losing the bag? What the hell? So the technology, in a way, is not having that empathy and compassion. So somewhere this is a very important skill, I feel. Going forward, as humans, we all can practice. Yeah, I think I'm talking non-stop now on empathy and compassion. So yeah, so I would like to really pause here. I'm putting some slides also for your reference. While I'm speaking, I may not be speaking what is there on the slide, to be honest with you. There's something else. There's some other point which would have written on the slide, which is related to empathy and compassion, nevertheless. But I'm not wanting to read what is written there. If I have to read what is there, I don't have to present, and I can simply share the PPT. So therefore, so what is this saying for a change? Ability to understand and share the feelings of others. Empathy, sharing the joy of. This is an interesting one. There's some kind of a misplaced perception in the society. People think that they need to show empathy when someone is suffering, when someone is in a bad state. Empathy can be shown even in a state where someone is joyful and in a celebration also. So here is an example which talks about the ability to understand the thoughts and feelings and emotions of someone else. An example of empathy is feeling the same amount of excitement as a friend when they tell you that they're getting married. So even in a context, if someone is sharing that he's getting married, one can still show the empathy. Empathy, not necessarily someone is dead and then we'll have to show empathy. Someone is suffering, we'll have to show empathy. Not necessarily. Even in somebody in a joyful state, in a happy state also, you can still empathize, saying that, wow, wonderful, that's really, it calls for a celebration. I'm so happy and excited about it. I'm so happy I'll be part of the celebration. So you're still empathizing with that guy. So empathy doesn't mean that you are showing only in the context of sad and sorrow. Yeah, I'm done. So now I want to open it to the floor. Yeah, someone can ask a question or state your point of view. Yeah, I want a lot more silent people also speak up,
I also request all the people who are watching on the YouTube also, you can text, you key in your question, queries or there in the chat box, so that will bring to notice of the resource person, Firmal will be answering them. So I request all the people who are watching on YouTube also,
I'll
you
be
can
glad.
key in your questions or there.
Very right, very right. I'll be glad. I think let's make it more interesting. And also people who have questions also, you can even feel free to question me with regard to the skills which I'm talking about. And yeah, I think anyone in the chat box, if someone is talking about it.
Yeah, I would like to respond. No, everyone should respond that if you think that empathy and compassion is important, kindly key in the chat box why, if you agree.
Yeah. Also, I will give you a little more opportunity for you to think different ways. Like you can give your opinion, observations, comments, questions. See the spectrum of things which you can do being live on the session. Yeah, your observations, your comments, your questions, your clarifications, your opinions, and so that you get the best out of the session. Yeah. So to fill the silence, I'll talk one example. To fill the silence, Mahi, I'll talk an example in the context of compassion.
Please.
Here, what happened when I'm talking about compassion, I was reflecting about, did I practice? Do I practice was the question, Because as a trainer, as a faculty, if someone is preaching something, the inner conscience will ask you that, have you practiced it? Do you do that? That's something which is very important, to introspect oneself. What happened a couple of days back? Yeah, I'm just sharing in the context, not that to beat my own trumpet, just in the context I'm sharing because there was a silence. There was on a rainy day, a old lady walks into our society with bags of flowers and want to sell. And my neighbor was buying those flowers. And being a rainy day and drizzling, and then I was watching, what I watched, I found that a lady after 60 years of age, above 60 years of age, is fighting life. You can imagine, I looked at this, she's fighting life, not depending on children. So imagine kind of, the spirit she's carrying, that even the rain is not stopping her. and still battling her life and selling flowers and to survive. The compassion in me, swelled like water in the well swells up. The compassion in me swelled up, and then I picked up 100 rupees note I saw from a window. I picked 100 rupees note, the brand new note, and picked up, and then went across to her. And then when I was giving that currency to her, she was saying, "Which flowers do you want?" Of course, we conversed in Telugu. Which flowers do you want? Then she looked up and asked me. I said, "No, I don't want any flowers, but I really, inspired by the kind of spirit you're carrying, even in spite of this rain, you're fighting, and then you are still, emerging yourself and doing this kind of a struggle, and you are trying to survive yourself. So this has been a true inspiration. This as a token of gratitude for my inspiration I'm giving you." So I gave this. So the compassion I've shown to this old lady and her blessings, and her blessings really gave and amounted a lot to me, and I felt so good about myself that showing that compassion to fellow human of that age, doing something beyond our physical capability. So I think this is again a very essential skill. So we'll have to see how we can practice that in our day-to-day life. Yeah, I'll pause now here.
Yeah, thank you, Thirumal. Okay, there is one query from Nishant Begum. She says, like, happy to celebrate friend's birthday is also an empathy, isn't it, sir?
Of course, exactly. I was saying that a while ago. Celebrating friends' birthdays and feeling happy about others' celebrations is also empathy. That's what I said a while ago. Absolutely bang on.
Yeah, there is also one more query on YouTube. But can these skills be acquired?
Yeah, good. I think, but the funniest thing, what humans are. We watch a lot of videos on WhatsApp. What is one of the videos I watched long back, that guy goes around, on the beach or in the shopping malls area, and then he finds all the old people. He was giving 1,000 rupees notes. Those days, 1,000 was still in circulation. And we see that video and we get excited. Oh God, this guy is helping all this, underprivileged who are fighting their lives in the tough times. But what is the problem? Acquiring, we're talking about acquiring the skill. When we notice it, when we observe it, can we do something at our own level? So when we talk about compassion, maybe, why not we acquire? Say, supposing you go for a vegetable buying tomorrow. You go to a vegetable market to buy vegetables tomorrow. Now you find a poor guy sitting on the road and selling the vegetables. Why don't you buy that at the price which is putting up? Why you want to bargain a guy for 1 rupee, 2 rupees who is selling on the road? And you want to save that 1 rupee and 2 rupee. And we are talking about compassion. And we are intellectualizing the empathy and compassion here. And tomorrow morning when you go for buying vegetables, you start bargaining for 2 rupees. What compassion? How do you acquire that skill now? So
but
it is acquirable.
When you go to malls, no, it's fixed price. You go there and just buy it.
In thousands,
Yeah.
you pay up and you shut up and buy them. And
Yes.
so now when we talk about empathy and compassion, so when you practice it tomorrow, you put it to practice tomorrow in the first opportunity, it is developable. You can acquire that skill. You can practice that skill. So what you practice, you become good at it. So I have to think whether am I practicing? So without practice, no skill can be acquired. So I said conscious mindfulness. Am I mindful tomorrow that I should not bargain with the guy who is selling on the footpath? Probably. Or can I be mindful in letting go 2 rupees for someone who is underprivileged? Or can I, I'll give another example. While I'm driving on the road, I find at a distance, someone falls off from a bicycle or from a bike. From a distance, you are still riding your bike. You will feel, "Ayyo, sorry, that fellow fell down." And you keep riding and keep going ahead. But you don't stop by and go and lift him up. So tomorrow, if you want to acquire this skill, stop by, go and lift him. No, the one who is fell on the road, go and lift him. That's what is compassion. So not watching from a distance. A very practical one.
Yes.
So why not? So these skills are applicable. These skills are acquirable. What I mean to say is that.
Yeah,
That was a good question.
Yeah,
I'm glad he asked that question.
One more question from Supriya. I feel being empathetic is a personality characteristics.
Yeah, maybe because the environment in which we are brought up. A child who observes his parents, doing a lot of charity, philanthropy, they are more empathetic and compassionate because of the ecosystem in which the child is brought up. If the parents are taking the child to an orphanage or old, why you are on silent? If a parent is taking the child to an orphanage or old age home, the child grows up watching that empathy and compassion to the fellow humans. And therefore, he will ingrain that in the mind. When he grows up or she grows up, they'll put that into practice.
So you mean to say that the parents and the culture at home plays very important role. Environment plays a major role in imbibing the skill empathy.
Of course. And for those who miss those opportunities, a webinar like this will do. A webinar like this, Mahi, which is doing, will do. Because we're talking, see, at this point in time in life, we are talking about it. Now, for some people who sat back all these years, will wake up. Will wake up to this clarion call and say, better later than now.
I need to do that. Okay.
Yeah. So for these people who have not got that kind of an experience and exposure, but a discussion like this will create that kind of awareness now. So what do I do with this awareness? So after this awareness, can I go back and imbibe this quality and put into practice?
Chandrasekhar would like to speak. Yeah, go ahead.
Thirumal sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, empathy, it's a very good skill, and it could definitely be a good weapon in a contemporary world like this, where we have a lot of miscommunication, communication breakdown, where we may have some people who mistook us, and we can build faith in somebody by empathizing at the right point of time, and it could definitely be a bridge to build the future relations. That's what I feel, to add on to your point.
Absolutely, you're bang on. To empathize to the people, you need to also have another skill called forgiving, the attitude of forgiving others and let go. Now, only when you forgive and let go, then you start empathizing and connect in the relationship. So if the egos plays out again and again, probably we fail to empathize. So there's so much of an ego there, and therefore we fail to empathize. So for that to do what you said, Chandra, maybe people need to learn to forgive and let go, and then they can go back and empathize and connect and build relationships. Yeah, great. Yeah, anyone else also? Is there any message in the chat? See, Mahi, you are in mute. Mahi, you need to be on mute here all the time. So you always go on the mute mode. As a host, you should not go in the mute mode.
Mrudulata ma'am, you can go ahead.
Mahi, you don't go on the mute mode. Yes, madam.
Right, sir. It was rightly remarked. Like whenever I explain about empathy to small kids, I give an example. Like maybe 6th or 7th class kids, they don't understand when we say empathy and all. So can I add a point here?
Why not? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I explained them like maybe your friend today he or she is coming to the school and suddenly they fell into a mud put, and they have no choice. They come to the school in the same way. So most of us like choose to laugh at them. But is there somebody who doesn't laugh at them? Then there will be few hands raised telling that we won't laugh. So I ask them, why you choose not to laugh? So I explain them like, today if something has happened to your friend, tomorrow it may happen to you also. So this creates a lot of empathy. Like if something is happening to somebody, it may happen to even us.
Yeah. Wonderful example. I think that simulation will sensitize the kids.
Right.
Which we're talking about will sensitize the kids, and they grow with that kind of thought in the mind. So they become more sensitive and more empathetic towards other fellow humans. Yeah, wonderful.
Thank you, sir.
Right, apt example you have given, madam.
Yes, fantastic. So good to go. I hope you're all enjoying the flow of the session.
Yes.
Yeah, wonderful. So should we go to the next skill? Yeah, before going to the next skill, maybe as an afterthought, I would say that if someone wants to empathize, one very important thing is that one should avoid judgments. You should become non-judgmental. Someone who is very judgmental cannot empathize. One has to be very non-judgmental and recognize the emotions of others, and also communicate and understand the other's feelings and their point of view, and acknowledge. Acknowledging is the key word again. When you want to empathize, acknowledging the other's point of view, also an act of empathy, an act of empathizing with others is acknowledging. Like how? I understand your point of view. Could be a simple way of empathizing with someone. Yeah. So good. So we'll go to the next skill now.
Yeah, even on YouTube, Mahipati Gayatri says that we are enjoying the session. We are learning a lot many things.
Oh, good. Good. I'm glad to see that. And the next one is gratitude. Gratitude is a quite interesting one. And a lot of books are written on gratitude, of late. A lot of books are written, a lot of speakers talk about gratitude. And they're also, kind of a good quotation which talks about attitude of gratitude. A lot of nice such, phrasal verbs. A lot of verbs, phrases have come in with regard to gratitude. And gratitude is something, what comes to mind when we talk about gratitude? Feeling grateful. And see, now in COVID-19 times, there's a lot of loss of jobs and a lot of loss of revenues or earning opportunities. It could be anything, and which may lead to a lot of stress, and people may get distressed and then get into panic mode. What is important is here, we should be very grateful that still we are able to stay safe, and we are able to participate in a webinar like this. We are able to learn something new today. And so every bit of things, what comes to my mind is counting our blessings. So we need to learn to count our blessings, is what is all about gratitude. Now, the point here is that, you may wonder why we should feel grateful to something. And what I found, I was reading a literature which talks about the positive psychology research. Gratitude is strongly and consistently associated with greater happiness, and gratitude helps people feel more positive emotions, relish good experiences, improve their health, and build strong relationships. Quite interesting. Is it feeling grateful will do all this good? Yeah, I mean, this is something amazing to think about. They will be more healthy, they feel more good about, and they build good relations and all this stuff. When we talk about it, so gratitude can we do that? But many times, what is the problem with humans? People take everything for granted. People take everything for granted. Like, even if I may give you an example, when someone gets up in the morning in the bed, he can start right from the go. I'm so grateful, God, that you gave me one more day in life. There are a lot of people who don't get up in the morning. They have a cardiac attack in the night in the bed. They don't even get up in the morning. A lot of cardiac arrest which happens in the midnight. They don't get up in the morning. People are not aware of that. But when they get up in the morning, they don't realize that they're awake and they're still alive. They're still kicking. So you can be even grateful for waking up in the morning. It can start from there. And I think gratitude, you can scale up and talk in very many ways. If I may give an example, say, supposing I'm driving the car. It's raining. It's raining out. And I'm in the car. And you know what? Many times we are in autopilot mode. We're simply driving, that's all. Not very conscious of what's happening around. When you look out of the window, you get to see a lot of people who are, on the bikes, who are getting wet, who are getting drenched in the rain. And I think the first thought one should get is, oh, I'm very grateful for this, God, that you've given me the you have given me four-wheeler. You've given me this, car, and I'm happy in the car and I'm riding safely without getting wet. What a luxury. And listening to the music and with the AC on, what a luxury. So can I feel, see, the very feel of this, I mean, the gratefulness or gratitude in me is producing a lot of happy hormones. And it creates a lot of, healing power. And it generates a lot of abundance in my mindset. I feel so grateful about it. So I think there are a lot of such things one can practice, being grateful or feeling gratitude to what is happening in your life.
Can anybody share that who have shown your gratitude in these days during COVID-19?
Yeah.
Where you have shared the people or something like that? Rajlata madam, you can go ahead.
Anyone who want to share one experience?
I am really grateful for this COVID-19 period, sir. I generally am busy trainings everywhere all the time, sharing my own views, my own ideas, my own experiences. But this time, this period, I am enjoying learning. Especially, I am grateful for Mahipati sir, because he is organizing these webinars every day, and we are learning many more things, and we are meeting many more new people, sir. Thank you. Thank you. I'm grateful, really. Thank you,
sir. Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. It's all because of your support. Even ma'am has taken one session, sir.
Good, wonderful.
She's a corporate trainer.
Oh, good, wonderful. I'm glad to know that.
Chandrasekhar has taken a session.
Wow, that's really wonderful. So good, I'm happy to have people around, and they're also, adding energy to me, to my flow of delivery. I'm really
Even
glad for that.
Chandrasekhar is also into training field. He has got his own organization.
Yes, I could sense that, I could sense from what he's speaking, I could sense that too. Yeah,
Thank you
while
so much,
madam was
Chandrasekhar.
talking about, what came to, yeah, madam, what came to my mind, was that, I had a teacher in my school days. I was below average student, and I was a below average student, not even average. I was a below average student, and she used to support me a lot. And so what happened as the time moved on, and then I moved on, and then life moved on, and down the line after 25 years, somewhere at some point, I don't know, I looked back from where I started. Then when I was reflecting, that the memory suddenly clicked that there was a teacher like this who was hand holding me like a Montessori teacher, who did all that cuddling and then giving that confidence and that kind of opportunity for me. What I did as a sign of gratitude, I called up some of my schoolmates, because of thanks to WhatsApp groups and thanks to Facebook and all that. I got some of the friends' numbers and called up. I figured out where the teacher resides now. And what I did? I picked my car. I picked my family. I drove my car, searching the teacher wherever she is. I went to the place where she was residing, a nook and corner village. I went to that place and I went searching and went behind and then met her. And what I shown the gratitude, the token of gratitude for her. She was so jubilant and happy about it. To see, back after 25 long years, and someone coming and saying that, I hope teacher you remember. I touched her feet, and my family also touched her feet, and then we did that token of gratitude, what all that we could give, and we could give to her, and we expressed our gratitude to her. So I've shown that gratitude to the guru who helped me in my school days. So somewhere, that created a lot of positive energy in me. And that bonding has helped, in giving me a lot of energy. And even the teacher still calls me once in a while and we speak. So I think somewhere gratitude is, gives us a lot of energy and power. That's a very important skill. Yeah, one more, anything in the chat or any person? Yeah, Vamshidhar Garu, Narendra, or anyone, there are a lot of names there. I know.
They're telling that they're enjoying the session. They would like to listen more. Supriya says we would like to more from you, sir.
Oh, okay, great. So if I have to dil mange more, then I have to give one more example on gratitude. So in that context, I would say, I don't know how many of us really, grateful and gratitude to the 5 senses which are working now. I'm talking very something earthly one now. I'm able to hear. Am I grateful for that? There are a lot of people who can't hear. And, there are a lot of 5 senses which are working for all of us. So can we be grateful for the senses which are working for us? So think about it. Yeah. And so it could be kinesthetic, it could be auditory, it could be visual, it could be olfactory, it could be gestational. When all these sensories are working, imagine that how fortunate we are, blessings of God. So are we very grateful about it? Is something which we all need to think about. Yeah, I'll pause here. Yes, Chandra, you can go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Chandra.
I was about to make a point, and you started to speak about 5 senses. Gratitude for me was always and has been always like what we have rather than what we look for. Because if we work on what we have, it's not like what we don't have, but what we have. And uh, whatever you want to get, I'm sure it will come when you work on what you have. And being thankful and being genuinely thankful and working on what we have certainly gets whatever we want in the future. That's what I strongly believe in. I wanted to make a point, and rightly said, like 5 senses and many more things like parents and many good family, beautiful understanding, better half, and all these things they generally go unnoticed more often than not. It's not like every time, and these things can definitely make us to acquire more, to be more peaceful, so that when we are more like peaceful, cool, we tend to get more than what we expect. This is what I wanted to add. I wanted to throw light on your points.
Great. I'm glad. It's really very insightful thought, and I really appreciate that you are able to compliment what I'm saying. That's really great. You're complimenting us what I'm saying. And
even Nishad Begum says that interesting webinars are with your examples.
Come again?
Interesting webinar with your examples, sir. Nishad.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. And I was listening to one guru, on some webinar. You know what he was talking? It was very hilarious, but he was talking this. How many of you are very happy that kidneys are working? Both the kidneys are working. I was really thrilled to hear that kind of a comment. How many of you are really grateful that both the kidneys are working? They are filtering your blood and they're curating your blood and creating all the toxins are removed from the body, and you don't get a thrill of it. You don't feel grateful about it. So that's something caught my attention, to think that far that kidneys are working. Yeah, what a great. He talks about being grateful for that. That's something which was really catching my attention. And to add on, Chandra, one more thing, 5 elements. 5 elements: earth, the sky, the air, the water. Yeah. What are the one? Sky, earth, water, fire, and air. Fire and air. So I do bhutalu. I mean, they say we talk about 5 elements. Panchabhutalu.
Yeah.
I think they are part of our life. Our body is made of all that. So one has to be grateful for the sky. One has to be grateful for the motherly earth for tolerating us.
Absolutely.
One should be grateful for the pure drinking water. There are a lot of continents who don't have water. So that way, we are able to breathe the fresh air. So if you want to really be grateful and gratitude, there are enough of opportunities for all of us for being grateful and gratitude in life. So I want to stop here now on this. Yes. So I'll just read one research study which talks about gratitude. A National Institute of Health study found that when you express kindness or feel gratitude, your hypothalamus floods your brain with dopamine. It says that National Institute of Health study found that when you express kindness and gratitude, your hypothalamus produces your brain with dopamines. Dopamine is one of the happy hormones. I'm going to talk 4 good hormones or happy hormones in a while. So dopamine is one of those happy hormones, so which creates a lot of positive energy, which creates a lot of healing in the body and in the mind. Yeah. So can we go to the next one, or is anyone as a last comment? Yeah, Mahi?
We can go ahead.
Yeah, we'll go to the next skill. Yeah, good. Yeah, here comes abundance. Abundance thinking or abundance mindset. This is again very important thing in life, particularly when you talk about life skill. People operate from scarcity mindset. Bang on. I'll repeat. People operate from scarcity mindset. Now, you know what? In the COVID times, the moment COVID has come and lockdown is announced, you know what happened? People run helter-skelter to supermarkets and they were stacking goods for 5 months. I'll repeat. When the lockdown is announced, people ran to supermarkets and they were stacking goods for 5 months. See the scarcity mindset. Huh? The abundance mindset, there is enough for everyone. There is enough for everyone. You know what is the problem with the scale? See, you see in the nature. I would talk about nature. If you see in the nature, you will find you pluck a flower, the plant again gives another flower. You pluck a fruit, the plant produces again. The tree produces another fruit. You take the water out of the well produces water again. So the nature is telling there is so much of abundance in this universe, but we miss these signals. And people are so smart. And you go to the forest, you pluck those honeybees nest and bring those that honey nest with you. Now, when you pick those honey nests, the honeybees again produce another bunch of honeys. I think in the nature there are plenty of examples, plethora of examples which talks about abundance. But in spite of that, humans operate from scarcity mindset. I think it's important to think abundant. So abundant mindset that focuses on what you do, and it allows us to see possibility rather than limits and can shift our perspective. So I think somewhere this is another very important skill set one need to focus on. One need to think about how I can think abundant. And there may be a question in the group. Sometimes in the sessions people say, you mean to say that sit at home and think abundance, money will flow in? There are people who can even ask such kind of question. Yeah, I sit at home and think abundance, that I'm getting 10 crores of rupees and I get abundance at home. So I think there is something, we need to have a very pragmatic look to that. When I think abundance, not just something which is impractical. And every abundance thinking, you are also, when you think abundance, there is some force within the body, and then that takes you to an action level. And when you get into an action level, and that will manifest in abundance. So the abundance thinking coupled with an action will manifest in reality. So for this to manifest, I think some amount of action is required. So I think somewhere we need to really start looking at abundance and see the scope for giving and sharing, because there is a kind of a message which I was reading in one of the books which says that givers are the gainers, and it says that the abundance thing talks about what goes around comes around. Now when you contribute, when you are so abundant in thinking and wanting to being generous and do some good work or some help to someone in difficulty, in crisis, because of your abundance thinking, and the nature or the cosmos has the unique skill of bringing that abundance back in multifold. You may give in say in one pay, in maybe in a small scale, but the abundance comes back in many folds. So that is the benefit of abundance thinking and abundance act. So you will have to start looking at way things in a very different perspective. You don't have to have that uncertainty of scarcity or fear of scarcity all the time, that and what happens, since you're operating from scarcity mindset, you don't think liberal, you don't think generous, and you don't attract abundance also. And there is another subject which talks about law of attraction. So they talk about this, you think abundance, abundance will manifest for you. So somewhere this is again a very essential skill. So somewhere we need to start moving from scarcity mindset to abundance thinking. So I want to pause here on this, and because in this universe, as I was talking about, that there is enough for everyone in this universe, and the universe communicates to us in many ways that there is so much abundance, which is prevalent, and but still we don't practice that abundance in our lives. Yeah, anyone? Now I'm opening it to the floor, and it's open for your questions, comments. I want some of those quiet and silent members also to open up, and these are all very simple topics, and each one can speak about it, and and you can give your comments, your opinion, your observations, be it anything, or it can be a question, anything. It can be anything.
It's about abundance. You can speak about abundance, or else any other topics till now.
Or you had anything comes to your mind, or you had an act, you exercised an act of abundance in the recent past. Maybe you demonstrated abundance in the recent past. It could be from your real life example also. It could be. I don't know. Maybe some of us, we stopped servant minds at home because of the COVID-19 fear. But are we thinking abundant and giving them at least 50% salary, if not 100% salary, for them to thrive in this COVID-19 times? The abundance thinking, really works. When you really go and do out of way and help someone, the abundance comes.
I can share an example like abundance when you're talking about that. When it comes to you all, all the trainers, especially now you're abundant, so that's the reason you're sharing your knowledge at this point of time. Even Chandrasekhar, Mrudulata, these are all the people. I really feel like you're abundant in nature. That's the reason you're sharing the knowledge to all of us.
Yeah, thank you for that compliment. And I think it's important for us to share the knowledge. When you share the knowledge, at least it becomes double. Maybe when you share the property, it may become half. When you share the property, it may become half. But when you share the knowledge, it becomes double. It becomes double, you see. And I'm also consciously pausing because we need to allow the ideas to sink in.
Yes.
Otherwise, we are back to back, and it goes just like a kind of a running mill. Yeah. So people can reflect, people can think through, people can chat.
Shekhar, you can go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thinking about abundance, yes. Thinking about abundance has to be in our own limit, I think so, because there is no end for abundance. As you rightly said, if you pluck a fruit or flower, of course we can have one or two, and if we are expecting for hundreds from a same plant, it won't be. What I want to add on to your points here is, having once sort of like the intellectual ability to know what we need is also very important, and we need to have the needs or maybe desires to our whatever we want to have to our limitations, and there is no end. I want all the money in the world. If I get that, I'll be spending some peaceful maybe I may not be peaceful in spending my life also to safeguard that money or whatever. I hope you got my point here, sir. Like, yeah. And even
yes, Chandra, go ahead.
Even when we want something from outside, that has to be very, intellectually, practically thought, and then we have to go forward. And abundant thinking is good. And in that, we need to know our limitations or what we exactly need and to what extent. And then it will be, open opportunity for everybody, and everybody can use to, best extent. That's what I just wanted to say.
Quickly, I want to bring an observation here. When I'm talking about abundance, I'm not talking from the context of accumulating wealth, accumulating wealth and being greedy about it. What I'm talking a very finer aspect here. I want to listen. All of you need to really listen actively now. Abundance is not about after I become super rich and then I start contributing to someone. I start giving someone. Within what I have, can I contribute to someone within my possibilities? I'm not trying to say that go beyond your capability, go beyond your possibilities. I'm saying that whatever you have as of now, within that, can you think abundant and share and contribute with others? Because what happens is, typically the mindset is, yeah, let me have an asset, let me buy a villa, let me buy a Mercedes, let me have enough for myself, and then I think of doing charity. So now this fellow is still operating the scarcity mindset that unless he creates that kind of wealth for himself, and then a super rich guy doing some kind of philanthropic work is no great. Like Bill Gates doing, or Infosys Foundation doing great philanthropic work is not great because they have enough for themselves now. There is no great thing, doing and going and doing service about it because they have enough of accumulated wealth. But you and me, not being so super rich, coming from a middle class, and within our own possibilities, if you can go and lend a helping hand and do what you can help within your limits, that is abundance.
Exactly.
So we don't have to become super rich or we don't have to accumulate wealth. So from that perspective, I'm speaking abundance.
Sure, sir.
Thank you, Thirmal. Thank you very much. Mrudulata would like to speak.
Yeah, go ahead.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes,
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah. So abundance is not only about wealth, sir. It is like happiness, everything, all the feelings, they are abundant in nature. Actually, let me add one more point. Like from as a child, each one of us are abundant in our thoughts. Like if you ask a small child, like how many, if they want any chocolate or something, if you want them how many you want, they will say this many. They will not say 1, 2, or they will not limit themselves. They will not tell you a number 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. They will only say, I want this many. But
right.
as we grow up, we limit ourselves. We will put a number to our limitations. So we have to be like that. As a child, we should be abundant. Not only in the case of wealth, but in the case of happiness, learning, everything is abundant in nature. So we have to attract the abundance.
Yes. So the fundamental, the bottom rule is that, we need to think abundance. We should feel abundant. Now, when you're saying this, what comes to my mind is some of the managers, they can be abundant in even appreciation. Abundance can be even in appreciation. Some people say any good job done, they say only good job done. But abundant thinking person can say fantastic, fabulous, awesome, superlative, amazing. So even one can be abundance even in vocabulary, abundance even in appreciation. Some are conservative even in appreciation. They are conservative even in appreciation. Forget about even money. Even in saying appreciation also, they are so conservative. That's the problem. So abundance can be applied in all walks of life from that perspective. Yeah, good.
There's a query from Supriya.
Yes.
Possessing the skill, is it just a state of mind?
It's a state of mind and also applying it. Possessing skill is when you apply, when you practice. It's about application. It's not just the state of mind. It is application. The application is very important. So if I know about abundance thinking and I don't apply it, and if I know about gratitude, I don't apply it. So it's just the state of mind. Then it's not the state of mind. It's about application of that. Skill is all about application. Knowledge is the state of mind. Application of knowledge is skill. So how to ride a bicycle is, that knowledge is the state of mind. But when you get onto the bicycle and ride, it's application. So skill is an application. So we'll have to apply all of these skills.
Thank you, Thirmal. Thank you. We'll go for the next skill.
I just want to acknowledge Manohar sir for being present here, and Senior Vice President, HR, Sir, would you like to come live and say hello? Mahi is the host here for the session. Good evening, Mr. Manohar sir. Can you unmute and on your mute video? Mahi, you can.
I've done it. I've given it.
Oh, is it? I hope he's around. Good evening, Mr. Manohar sir. Thank you for being around. Oh, I think let's go and proceed with the session. But it's looking is present in the session. Okay, so we'll go to the next one. That is happy hormones. I was talking all along now. While we do all of those, life skills which we were talking about, and happy hormones are the dopamines, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins. You can Google about these happy hormones post the session. You get to know how these happy hormones play a vital role in creating, inner joy, inner peace, inner tranquility, and also how these hormones can complement you in application, or while you are applying some of these skills which you're talking about, how they produce these happy hormones, and what kind of impact these happy hormones would have on the individual's mental level, at a thought level, at an action level. And it is found that these happy hormones will help the humans to heal, to feel good, to build relationships, to feel peace, and to feel tranquil, to feel compassionate. So it is found that in the society that, a lot of research has been done, a lot of studies have been done, and many people have spoke about it, that these are the happy hormones, and they are good to generate. They say that, so supposing, if you simply compliment while in the session, and if you compliment someone, that also produces endorphins. Do you know that? Just complimenting someone wearing a good shirt while you're walking the aisle, if you just walking the aisle in the college campus, you find a professor wearing a good shirt or a good blazer, just say, yeah, fantastic blazer, man, it's really looking awesome. And just saying these good words will produce the endorphins, you feel excited, and there's a lot of so much of positive energy. So this is a happy hormone. Endorphins are produced. And the study proves that the person who can create this kind of events in a given day and produce a lot more these happy hormones organically, within the body, not from the pharmacist. You don't go tomorrow to the medical shop and ask, can I have one dopamine tablet, one serotonin capsule, one endorphin capsule, and one oxytocin capsule? And do you have a combination of all this, all in one capsule? You don't get in formulations this. You will have to generate within. These are all produced by the body. And they have a tremendous positive impact on the body in terms of healing, in terms of peace, in terms of happiness, and they produce a lot of happy relationships. So remember this, by being mindful, by being compassionate, by being thinking abundant, by being grateful or gratitude, these are the hormones which are being produced in the body, which will create a lot of joy and happiness, and which will help you to focus on and being successful in your lives. And then we'll go to the next one. Appreciative inquiry is the last but one skill, one more skill to go. So appreciative inquiry, what comes to my mind, very interesting one. This, initially, I was really puzzled. What is this appreciative inquiry? And then I did some amount of, study and some amount of, Googling, and found out what is this appreciative inquiry is all about. It's an approach to an organizational change which focuses on strengths rather than weaknesses. Quite different from many approaches to evaluation which focus on deficits and problems. Many a times, people, whatever the studies or whatever the research is done, the focus is more on the deficit, focus is more on the pain areas, the focus is more on the bottlenecks, the focus is more on the problems. I'll repeat. The focus is more on the pain, focus is more on the bottlenecks, the focus is more on the problems. And the way they do the study also, what went wrong, why it went wrong, who has done that. So more of an interrogative and kind of a negative approach in the whole process. The appreciative inquiry has brought a paradigm shift. The paradigm shift here is it focuses on strengths, it focuses on possibilities. Like, for example, if something has gone wrong, like I was talking in the negative context, what the interrogative approach, not the appreciative inquiry. The appreciative inquiry will say, what were you attempting to do? The question itself will be very positive and very encouraging. What were you attempting to do? That's really brilliant, man. You were attempting to do something new. That's really being very creative. That was a fantastic, out of the box thinking, out of the box approach. What was that you were trying to approach? And since it went wrong, the appreciative inquiry could be, yeah, what you could have done better. So you're focusing on what could have been done better, not on why it went wrong, why you didn't attend to that, why you didn't focus on this, why did you do that, why did you do this. That is a very negative approach to a particular problem or to a particular challenge. So appreciative inquiry has brought a complete paradigm shift into being very positive in the whole process, right from the asking questions, right from the conversation go. Your whole focus is on positives and possibilities. So this got my attention. This is again a very interesting skill one can develop going forward. Something goes wrong, instead of going cynical and interrogative in that approach, how you can bring a shift in the whole process and make the other person feel comfortable and easy to correct. I'll repeat: make the other person who has made a mistake, make him feel comfortable, and make him feel that it's easy to correct. And that's where you create a lot of positive energy. And the guy who is in this particular context will not get perturbed. He feels good about himself because you're talking and appreciating, because it's the only person who is making an attempt who would fail. The guy who is not making an attempt anyway, he will not fail because he's not working at all. Where is the question of failing? And so the guy who has done something and he went wrong. So your inquiry, your questioning, your approach to the person should be very appreciative. I'm glad that you tried something new. See the opening statement. I'm glad that you tried something new. It's good. I think we stand a chance to learn something out of this. What were you attempting? What could have been done better? I hope you are able to listen to my phrases. This is what is appreciative inquiry. Yeah. So a few thoughts on this. I want to park on this now. And let's see, your comments, your observations, your questions on appreciative inquiry. Yeah. So for a long time, some people are quiet. Yeah, Narendra, you want to come online again? And even Manor sir can also come online. And your comments, your observations, your opinions.
Yes, sir. I am speaking, sir.
Yeah, go ahead, Narendra.
Yes, this appreciating it means previously I used to whenever that I sing Carnatic music. So whenever I used to comment, I just used to point out the defects. But now I started changing my way. For example, yes, you sang well, or you wrote poetry well, or you got maturity well. However, this is the defect, and please work on that. And that has improved my relationships.
Good. Narendra, wonderful share. A small observation here. After using however, if you can avoid saying a defect, however, you are capable of doing better. However, you are capable of doing better. So when you say you are capable of doing better, you are raising the expectation. When you raise the bar, the guy will get motivated. Because I was talking about a while back that the positive and possibility language.
Yes.
Because when I say the word defect, the unconsciously the human mind will pick up only that. Sir is saying defect, so I have some defect. That the guy who's listening would feel that there's a defect in him. So that would actually underscore the appreciative approach again. So maybe if we can replace that word, yeah. However, you are capable of doing better, and I have high expectations. Yeah. How is it sounding to you? How is it sounding to you?
Yeah. It is still more positive.
Good. Wonderful. I'm very glad that you came live and said it. Thank you so much, Narendra.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah. I'm glad. Mahi Srinivas, Narendra is based out of Gujarat. Daman is a too far a place. He's come alive and is being part of the session. He's a good friend of mine. We joined some course called in CELT in Usman University years back. So 15 years back story. We were friends and past friends then.
Okay. It shows that distance doesn't matter for learning, And also, as you said, that is we both were colleagues earlier. Great to know about that, Thirumal.
We were learning.
Thank you, Narendra, for your participation.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, Srinivas.
Yeah. So, Mano sir, are you there online? You can come alive and say hello to us. We'll really appreciate that. If you're around and you're available on the screen. Okay, Mahi, anyone in the chat? In the meantime, anyone in the chat has any comments or any questions?
As of now, no, because time we need to conclude.
Good. Yeah, we are done with the last one and then we are closing on that.
Yeah, okay.
So the last one to go, because this is the most interesting one. And then I'm sure certainly people will feel thrill and appreciate of that skill.
Sure, sure.
Here we go. Being vulnerable. And the very word itself is really frightening, you see, vulnerable. Quite an interesting one, no? To hear the word called vulnerable. And in the recent past, even this caught my attention. A lot of people started talking, I appreciate that you're being very bold and vulnerable. These are the kind of comments I see in many webinars also. And then got my attention. So I thought I should share about it. I should talk about it. I did some amount of, reading about what is vulnerability and all about. So what I found was, in the context of vulnerable, it says that it builds strengths. For example, you take COVID-19 scenario. Everyone is vulnerable, and what happens when someone is vulnerable? You feel uncertain, you feel ambiguous, you feel insecure, and all that stuff. But what it says, while you are going through that, someone, if you can embrace that vulnerability, not feeling insecure about it, and takes heads on, your resilience will improve, your tenacity will improve. And if I might give another example, if you say, you take an example like I had an opportunity in my career that I was transferred to Mumbai. The vulnerability all southern, particularly South Indians, were feeling was Mumbai is a very tough city. Rains, they will drown you, and house rentals are very expensive, very costly. It's not worth going to Mumbai. So the fear of insecurity, the fear of unknown, stopped everyone being in Chennai, Hyderabad, Bangalore, and in Trichy. But I raised my hand, as usual, I raised my hand. I want to come to Mumbai. And then, Vice President transferred me to Mumbai. I walked into the vulnerability, I walked into vulnerability. I said, let me go to see Mumbai. And you know what? Quite a challenging, very true. Being in Mumbai city in 2004, I was stuck in Goregaon. I was staying in Dadar. It took 2 days for me to come home. And you know what? Being in that vulnerable state, it built a lot of resilience in me. And not just doing job and surviving in job, but also I could brace with the calamities in life. So your exposure to the vulnerability builds a lot more resilience in you and a lot more risk appetite in you. Risk appetite. Your appetite to take risk will go up. And once it goes up, and the vulnerability becomes strength. And last one example, then I'll open up to the floor. I'll give one more example with due respect to Srinivas, Mahi, and those who are in the full-time jobs here. And being in a full-time job, month-end salary is very assured. And there's a lot of security in that job. And therefore, the vulnerability decreases a little less. But I took to, freelancing at the age of 35 with a lot of dependence in the family. But I don't know whether it is by design or by default, but I was thrown. I don't know if someone pushed me into that. And and then, being vulnerable, I started swimming in the ocean. And but then in this journey of 15 years, what I experienced was not being very sure of month end, but I braced with that. What happened? Being vulnerable, I was on my toes all the time, and I was at my best all the time, because there is no security. And every time I come up, I need to perform, because if I don't perform, I don't get work. So that vulnerability has given me a lot of strength, and that it has built a lot of risk appetite in me. And it has built a lot of, in the process, it also built a lot of skill sets to me. And in the process, I also could get, network with wonderful people like Mahi, Manoj sir, like Narendra, and now Chandra and Mridula. So I think, I'm able to really connect with a lot more people. So being vulnerable has added a lot of value to me, a lot of, advantage to me. So I will pause here and then open to the floor. I'm done with all the skills which I wanted to talk about. I don't know what is the time now, Srini?
It's 8:35.
Oh, good. Okay. Oh, we started at 7:10 to 8:35. 1.5 hours. My God. Yeah. So I'm done now with all the topics. It's open to the floor now.
Yeah, it's in fact it's a wonderful session. Like you covered a lot many points and all. I request all of you to.
Yeah, you can unmute the audios, videos, everything.
Yeah, we have done it already.
All can come live. Please,
yes.
all of you can come live now.
Yes.
Let's have a reflection. So we'll spend 5-10 minutes on reflections. and then we'll
request everybody to unmute your video and also audio. And you can share your learnings.
Sir, may I speak?
Yeah, please go ahead, Nisha.
Sir, I'm Bhavani.
Bhavani, please go ahead, Bhavani.
Sir, Thirumal sir, very good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Yes, Bhavani, go ahead.
Yes, sir, it is a very great session, sir. I have learned, and more than that, I have enjoyed the session very much, sir.
Thank you.
I very much like your.
Yeah, Bhavani is a literature student, sir.
Okay,
I think
good,
she
good.
might admire your content and also.
No.
apart from that, the
My. Hold on, my. Let Bhavani complete. Yes, Bhavani, go ahead. You were passing at some words. Come on, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
You can speak.
I like the very much.
Like, give me 1-2 examples. What you liked? Is it the content? Is it the body language? Is it my
content? Yes, sir. You are always smiling. I'm listening from the beginning, sir. Till to the end, your smile is charming. Your face is charming.
I look into the camera now.
I'm really, sir. I'm very much enjoying each and every word from you, sir. And you make us to learn in our regular activities also, sir. Means to be positive in everything. As you shared your first life skill, positivity, you said that we should be very practical. Yes, sir. It's a very great session, sir. I'm very glad to be in this webinar, sir. Thank you.
Thank
sir.
you, Bhavani. Yes, next person.
Bhavani,
Yes,
you are from
sir,
Palamur
sir.
University, am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, she's from Palamur University, Mabunar.
Good.
Sir, Thirumal, sir.
We'll come to that, Mai. Yes,
Yeah,
Narendra,
yeah,
go ahead.
Narendra, please go ahead.
Sir,
Go ahead, Narendra.
Sir, why did you use the word unconventional life skills? Because being positive, being gratitude, showing gratitude, these are all told to us from ages and ages. You know, these are all there in our ancient scriptures also. So, I don't think unconventional life skills is the correct phraseology for that. What would you say for this?
Good. Yeah, I'll give my comments on that. Wonderful observation, Narendra. One reason why I felt unconventional is because if you see in the society at large, people don't talk something called comfort with ambiguity, something like this, comfort with ambiguity. You generally don't come across someone speaking in a regular conversations in a normal life.
Even I am not also comfortable with that.
And therefore, Narendra,
Yes.
and I'll talk one more thing, vulnerability, that I can see this kind of, things which are not generally spoken in a regular life, in a regular conversations, in walks of life. And and we are trying to talk something very unconventional ones, and not being practiced, not being very conscious, not being aware of these things, and positive psychology, even not many are heard of. Forget about even talking about it, not even heard of. So, and therefore, I brought in this element of the word called unconventional skill,
okay. In view of general context. Okay.
Yeah, even in life context. See, for me also, I haven't come across so often this kind of vocabulary, this kind of subjects, this kind of concepts, this kind of themes, and therefore they got my attention. And therefore, I wanted to share this. Yeah, I'm glad you asked Narendra that. I hope I could answer you, Narendra. I hope I could give at least justice. I could just
yes. I mean, in the context of today's society, where we have, not me, where most of us have lost connection with our culture. So might be for today's context, this is an unconventional thing. Yes, true.
Because people talk about interpersonal relations, family relations. People talk about team building. People talk about all that, time management. These are all very routine stuff, and something very unconventional we wanted to talk about. Yeah, Chandra, your turn now.
Yes,
Thank you, Narendra.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to comment and compliment the discussion that went on between you and Narendra. Actually, the term unconventional, absolutely true, sir. You made it so conventional after explaining so well, sir. That's what I feel. The things like abundance in thinking and maybe appreciative inquiry and being vulnerable, these are all negative terms. The terminology itself rightly brings some sort of anxiousness or maybe some sort of insecure feeling in human being. I have seen practically in many. So using these words and making us totally to the other side of the coin, like positive. And sometimes when people listen to it for the first time or in the beginning, surely they are unconventional. And you made it conventional. After explaining so well and being so close to our hearts, it's like miraculous session, I can say. It was a magical, sir, actually, because I deal with all these things in my own way, and it's totally another one, thinking the other side of the thinking out of the box or whatever. And you made it so simple, and that made people think in another way, I can say. And more importantly, the language made it even more beautiful, I can say.
Thank you, Chandra. Thank you for the
The
compliment.
spirit, yeah. I just have two more points to say, and I'm sure many more people will be waiting to speak. So it was like the spirit, sir, the spirit of your interactive way. I like very much to be session like this, and it's very close to my heart. And I have to say this point: you made it so simple, and the spirit was throughout, and that's what makes a wonderful session, sir. You included every ingredient to make it a very good festival feast like thing.
Good, Chandra.
Exactly.
And it means a lot coming from another trainer. So that means a lot to me. Thank you for that. Good. Being a trainer, if it's coming from you, it's really really.
These are all from my heart, sir. I'm speaking my heart here.
Yeah, and therefore I'm saying that, being a trainer, if you're saying that, that means a lot to me. That's what I mean to say. Yeah,
of course, sir. The growth only comes by appreciating one another, as you rightly said in the session too. So I will certainly look forward for many more sessions from you. And I have many things, many encomiums to give, but the time may not be. Mahipati will be climbing on me afterwards.
No, yes, other people will take turns.
No, you're welcome, Chandrasekhar. You're always welcome. You can complete.
Let's give to some more people to turn, and then we'll come back.
I don't know whether it is contextual to ask or not. Would you share your number on chat back, sir?
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Mahipati, for bringing Trimmer.
Chandra, can we hold for a minute? Chandra, can you hold on for a minute, because we have two more people to speak. Yeah. Chandra, we have two more people who can speak. Yeah. Yeah. Who want to go?
Yeah, can I speak, sir?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, it was really very wonderful session, and it was very insightful actually. And the name you have, as you said, it was unconventional life skills, but you made them with your examples and with the way you presented it. It was great, sir. You made it convincing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Even I could learn quite a lot of points from your session, from your observation.
Thank you.
Yeah, there are compliments from Bhavani. So really good session. We are expecting more sessions of yours. Really, if possible, we want many more sessions from you. Nishad Begum also, we are expecting one more session from you, sir. Bhavani also said, really,
any comments on the YouTube also? Mahi, any comments from the YouTube?
Yeah, YouTube, just a minute. Yeah, Mahipati Gayatri says it's a valuable session, sir. Thank you, sir, for essential, unconventional life skills, enjoying and learning a lot. And then Supriya also says that it was a great learning, sir.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I think we have two more.
And Vasanti Vasareddy also says, sir, can we understand it like whatever the skill, we have, if we protect it positively, it becomes a strength? I repeat, but can we understand it like whatever the skill we have, if we project it positively, it becomes a strength?
Is that the question?
Yeah, there's a question from Vasanti.
Yeah, any skill which you project it positively, and then it becomes a second nature for you. Over a period of time, it becomes natural for you. And because you don't have to consciously put an effort to bring up that positive behavior in you. and skills are a behavior. So what happens when you do consistently over a period of time, that becomes your second nature. And so it becomes naturally for you. You don't have to put conscious effort there. Yeah. Good. So are we done? And
yeah. If anything else Chandrasekhar would like to add, he can. Vasanthi
yeah,
says, thank you, sir.
Yeah, welcome. So
Well, life skills, sir. Okay, sir. Go ahead, sir.
no, I'm just saying, go ahead, Chandra. I was saying, Chandra, go ahead now.
Sir, life skills, it's a vast session, bigger than anything else, as I always say, because it's life.
Yeah.
The time between, our birth and exit, it can be, done in any way. There are huge number of things, but the way you chose the things itself shows that how innovative you are, and the way you explain the things with practical examples must have definitely made it very simple and easy to understand. And it is the other way of explaining the life skills. Really awesome, sir.
Thank you, Chandra. You have been very generous to praise me. Chandra is very generous, Mahi.
No. It was really, in fact, no, the session that, life skills is a vast, as you rightly said,
Yeah.
but you made it simple, to the point, with examples, apt examples, nobody will forget, because positivity, positive psychology, you spoke about dose, hormones, and you gave a lot of examples, abundance. These are all areas there. You have made them imbibe into into our mind, so that we'll be able to practice them practically. That's great. Thank you so much, Thirmal, for that. And Thirmal has shared his number in the chat box. If somebody would like to get connected with Thirmal, you can always do that. He's a generous and kind person that always, he's there to help. Know that he is generous in helping others. I can say that. Thank you very much. If anyone else is there.
To add on to what Chandra said, Chandra, why I picked up these topics is because, as you rightly said, the life skills being so voluminous and very vast. And so I was really in the search of something which should, should be very different from the life skills which has been spoken for a long time in the training space and in LLD space. And therefore, I was very conscious to pick the ones which are not spoken for long. So that was the idea behind this, Yes. Yeah. So
I sensed it, sir. I sensed it. And that is what made me to be so generous in complimenting, as you rightly said. And the other side of the coin, sir, where does a wonderful session come from? In my view, when we make the spectators, the target audience involved, as rightly said by Mahipati, to imbibe into it and to get into the session, and all the participants, I'm sure, might have been on the toes. And they might be on the toes, not with anxiousness, in fact, with relishing, and they may cherish for a long time about your session and whatever. So you made it so simple and so joyful, rejoiced and joyous by making us to speak more and more. This happens with very few trainers, and that's what impressed me, and I believe in that too. The like-mindedness is ultimately what made me to speak like this.
I would say, to add on to what you're saying, I believe in collective wisdom. I believe in collective wisdom. So not that, like a fountain head standing and radiating knowledge, not the case. Because I also believe in the philosophy called harvesting the group's wisdom. I'll repeat my line. Yes. Harvesting the group wisdom. Harvesting, like a farmer harvests a crop, will also harvest the group's wisdom. So that brings in a lot of participation and experiential learning to the individuals in the group. Yeah. So I'm done.
Yeah,
so thank you so much.
From the YouTube, Tejasvi says, thank you, sir, for your valuable words. I think me and my family have participated in the session, and we have all enjoyed the session.
Who was saying
she also says that Tejasvi says, my father had already attended your session and team building at Thermopads Private Limited.
Okay. Who is saying that? What is the name?
Tejasvi G.
Tejasvi. Okay.
Yeah. And that had initiated me to attend this session. Thank you so much, sir.
My pleasure.
Yeah. And also, even Prasanna says, thank you so much for your wonderful session, sir.
Wonderful. So thank you. All that, this is a successful program because of all of you. You all participated thoroughly. I thoroughly enjoyed facilitating this session. And also, I would like to thank Mahipati for, giving me this opportunity. And I also at the end would like to wish that all of you happy Independence Day and have a great time. Yeah. So good to close, Mahi.
Thank you, Tirmal. Thank you so much. Thank you for making it happen, and
Yeah.
thank you for your wonderful presentation. Made it, because for everything you gave examples and you made us to understand, and it goes a lot in future because this is on YouTube. Whoever watches this YouTube, they'll try to implement it. And also, Vasanthi says a good session to be frank enough, making uh, me explore more meanings for common words. Thank you. So she was. I hope that I know Tirmal, for his competency of the knowledge and where he has been delivering a lot of sessions in all the areas. Apart from that, I admire his vocabulary, the way he uses the words. The same thing even admired by the other people also. The great, sometimes we feel like we are from Department of English. Sometimes we feel like, no, you did a great job. No, sometimes I ask personally that what's the secret of you? No, he says only one thing. No, read more, talk more, speak more, and try to do practice. No, he preaches whatever he practices. That's great, Tirmal. Thank you very much for making us to know the word essential life skills. I liked it very much because these are all the things which are very important for us to implement them to make us feel successful. Thank you for your time and efforts and everything. Thank you so much. I thank Mrudulata ma'am. Thank you, Chandrasekhar. Thank you, Bhavani. Thank you, Prasanna. Thank you, Vasanthi. Thank you, Sahiti. Thank you, Supriya. And thank you, Tejasvi. And thank you, Gayatri, Mahipati Gayatri. And also thank all the YouTube viewers who have been watching this. Thank you, everyone. And it's an open invitation. If somebody would like to share your knowledge, you're welcome. You can connect with me. And also, I request you to connect with Tirmal also to gain more knowledge from him. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tirmal. Thanks a lot.
I'm grateful to all of you for staying till the last in this seminar. I really am very grateful to all of you for staying till the last. I'm really grateful. Thank you so much. And have a great time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.